Matt from The Ascended. Welcome to Nightbreed. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me. Doing very well.
Excellent. Cool. How's things going at the moment? You guys are in lockdown situation. You still able to jam and that kind of stuff?
No, we haven't been able to have the four of us in a room for too long. Pretty much our band practices at the moment are Zoom catch-ups, just going through, the back end of stuff and that kind of thing. But yeah, as for actually jamming in a room together, when in between lockdowns, with everyone's schedule and stuff, it can be sometimes sporadic. So it's been a little while since we've all been in the same room.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's all we want to do. We just want to be in the same room together and just play music and have a good time. So.
Yeah. Well, if we go back to 2013, how'd you first get together?
So basically, the name of the band is The Ascended, and that came from essentially, if you look at like the Phoenix kind of style reference from the ashes of my old band. I was in another band that kind of ran its course, and then I decided to make music again. Like I still had the itch to do it, so I wrote the first EP myself and kind of got that sorted, and then obviously got the itch to play live again. And I can't play all the stuff by myself, so started to recruit some of the guys, and I got Bo, the original drummer, by sending him some of the demo stuff and said, what do you think? And then, that was him on board. Corey had been he's a good friend of mine before the band, and I'd always been showing him the music I'd been writing. And he's always been at me, I want to play guitar for you. Give me the songs, let me learn the songs. And after a couple of months, I was like, all right, man, here's the songs, learn them. And that's how Corey came on board. And then Braden, we all met him. He was another local guy that we'd all known in the music scene, and we happened to be at a gig, all of us at a gig at the local pub together, and he kind of knew we were kind of working on something, and he's a drummer by trade, but came across and played bass for us because he was interested in the project and playing live, and then that formed the four of us, and so that's how the band started. With the first EP was already written, and I got those guys on board, and then from there, the band was formed and we started doing the rest together.
Nice. So you're in, is it Warrnambool? Is that how I say it, Victoria? Yep.
Yeah, Warrnambool, yep.
Yep. What's the, do you get to do many metalcore shows around there? Like, is there many metal shows going?
It's a small regional town there, man, so the scene's kind of non-existent at the moment. It's been tough. Like 5 years ago when we first started, it was pretty good. We were always able to do a show whenever we wanted and do all right, but COVID's been pretty hard on venues, so we don't have a venue here that will take heavy music. So for us, we're playing here in town on our tour, but it's a kind of like a DIY show. We're putting it all together ourselves in our function room as such, just because it's our hometown. But short of that, there isn't a scene as such, if you will. Yeah, which is a real shame because we all grew up in this area, and that's how we got into music. We always used to go to shows because 10 years ago, shows were dime a dozen. You'd have metal every Friday, but that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah. What's like albums or bands that you all sort of collectively get into?
I don't know if there's really any bands that we collectively all get into. We're very all across the place. I mean, other than short of your Metallicas and your Megadeths, where nearly every metalhead has to admit that they've been into at some point. There isn't really. We all listen to very different music and are all passionate and have our favorite bands are all very different. We all like all those other bands and respect all those, but our core favorites are all very, very different. I myself, Trivium, As I Lay Dying, Killswitch Engage, that traditional metalcore, that's me to a T. Corey's very much into your thrash and things like that. He likes the metalcore as well, but really into metalcore and deep into some bands that I couldn't even name in terms of metalcore. Jake, who's our current drummer, he's very much your death kind of guy. So he's into tech death and things like that, really, fast and technical. And Braden's kind of like the real, the oddity, if you will, out of the band that he loves is stoner rock and things like that, Queens of the Stone Age, 12 Foot Ninja, all those kind of heavy, abstracty kind of bands. That's his real jam. So, yeah. And I think that really works well for us because then it brings in a lot of different elements.
Yeah, cool. So back in 2018, you guys put out Awaken Within.
Mhm.
What's the writing process like? Is there sort of one strong songwriter in there, or you share that around?
Yeah. Yeah, so our writing process pretty much, yeah, essentially begins with myself and has from the start, and for the same for this record that we've got coming out soon, is that I pretty much start jamming out guitar riffs and pretty much putting all the songs together and getting a good foundation of, the where we're going to go and the direction we're going to go with it. And then kind of we just bring them into a room, and from there it's pretty much piecing the puzzle pieces together. So we'll all sit down on the couch. We've got the computer there, and we'll start putting riffs together that we think kind of gel. And then I'll have a guitar and maybe jam out a riff that could, make them work together better. And then Jake will program his drums in there, and we'll get the bass line of a song. And then from there, we just, flesh out the rest. And bass and lyrics never get demoed. They never have been. It's just, not in our process that, Braden will do his bass and bring it to the studio, and I'll do the lyrics and bring it to the studio. But yeah, the process pretty much heavily starts with myself and writing those riffs and getting the structure and the foundation of the songs.
Okay. I'm talking about lyrics. You're saying you write the lyrics. Is there ever a chat about themes or anything like that, or are you just kind of going with it?
Nah, the boys, they would tell you that they would not be able to tell you the full lyrics to a full song. Like, they wouldn't know. It's not that I keep them secret and don't want them to know. It's just the process. I pretty much take them in the studio. I finish a lot of them in the studio, and then all of a sudden we're just straight out on the road. And I guess they don't need to know. It's not need to know, but everyone's got their instrument. Corey will know his backup vocals for the cleans. But short of that, there's never really a discussion about it. Occasionally I might say, hey, this is about this. You're down with that? And they're like, yeah, keep running with it, whatever it might be. I think at most the lyric videos, which have only put out one, would be the only chance the boys would know some of the songs. So, yeah.
Cool. And what's the recording process like? You're saying you go to a studio, yeah? Where'd you record the first album?
Yeah, so we basically go in with all of our demos, and then a good friend of ours, who is a muso and a producer, we're lucky that way, has a home studio. And so we just go into his home studio and we just track everything there. It's really comfortable for us because we know him really well. He's had a part in everything we've ever done, and it's just a good vibe. And doesn't feel like a studio kind of pressured vibe where your time is money kind of thing. It's not like that for us. It's get in there and do it. And the good thing about that is we can do it in blocks, which is what we did for this record. And especially because of lockdown, we didn't have to worry about getting 2 weeks in the studio in a row and not being able to record. We would just when we could go in there and do 2 days and record 2 songs. Shelve them, come back, wherever it might be. So that flexibility was really good. The process is I record all of the guitars, obviously my vocals as well. Corey will do his vocals and Braden will do his bass.
Oh, cool. And so the new album, The Dark's out September 17th. Has there been a different approach coming into this one?
In terms of the process to get it created, it's exactly the same, starting with riffs, piecing it together, then recording and whatnot. Some of the small differences are that, as I was just touched on before, is that because of the way of the world, we've record this record. It's taken us 3 years to get to this point where it's done because of lockdowns, etc. In that, this time we recorded 2 songs at a time, so it was 2 songs, and then we'd come back, a couple of months later, do another 2. And that was how we eventually got to the finish line with the 10 songs. I think the disadvantages are that, you really want that flow of getting all the songs done and recorded at the same time. But for us this time, it was more of we actually got to write the songs and then record them. So they weren't all written and then recorded. It was write 2, record 2. And so we can see the progression of the songs over the 3 years that, Shadow Walker, which we released in 2019 as the single, the music has progressed now to some of the songs that are on The Dark. So we're able to progress our music ability and what we're doing naturally through that journey of doing the record. And we think that really shows in that all the songs, all of them we went in with the attitude of this is a single because we recorded 2 at a time. So we feel that there's a lot more strength in all of these songs.
Oh, cool. So The Dark, the most recent single, you got the music video with the POV shots and that kind of stuff. Who put that together for you? That looks pretty cool.
So Connor O'Keen from Imperium Pictures in Melbourne, he put that together for us. He does a lot of work with a lot of the Melbourne bands. He did the Shadow Walker clip, and we got him to do this one. And I mean, the results speak for itself. It's awesome. Yeah, we love it. Yeah.
And also in the video on the new cover, you got that almost band logo thing. How did that come together?
Yeah, so we wanted to go simple for this record in terms of point of reference, keeping things simple on the album cover and everything. Awaken Within was very detailed in everything in the album cover, and everything was very detailed and colourful. And we wanted to flip that on its head and go nice and simple, black and white, something that's point of reference for this entire album cycle. So when people see that rune, they know that that's the Ascended, that's the Dark. And that was the kind of the idea behind it. So it's on our stage banner, which is featured, has been shown a couple of times in some photos. It'll be everywhere, will be that rune, and that is to represent the Dark. So one point of reference, and just keep it simple, man. That was the idea for this entire record, just keep it simple.
Yeah, cool. And of course, you got tour plans with Desecrator, yeah? Are they still far enough away that they'll possibly happen, yeah?
Man, the world's ever changing. So right now, yeah, we're still hopeful we're going to complete that run in some way, but we just don't know. We're all committed to making these shows happen. So look, if there has to be rescheduled and postponed, so be it. We will get out on the road and we will play these shows for people. So no matter what, if it's on this scheduled run or later down the track, you know, we will play these shows. Hopefully, you know, in January when New South Wales is scheduled to happen, we'll be right. Hopefully in October we might be right as well. But, you know, it's a watch and act situation, but we're still can guarantee you that we're dedicated to making sure that these shows happen at some point.
Yeah, cool. And in the meantime, is there plans for like another single off the album or anything like that?
Yeah, yep. So in 2 weeks' time, or maybe less, on September 10th, we've got a lyric video coming out for another single called Embrace the Suffering. So that will be the next one to kind of tie everyone over to the album release. So it'll be a week before that. And I think our general plan for this one is that we're going to do 6 singles overall for this record cycle, because we feel that there's 6 songs that really deserve to, you know, be featured in that way. And just to keep things moving, keep it alive for people, keep something new, video clips, lyric videos, whatever it might be. We're just going to keep the content coming for everyone, especially in times like this as well. We don't want to just drop an album and kind of, you know, leave it and, you know, possibly not be able to tour it or whatever it might be. And obviously a lot of bands releasing music. So we're pretty much, committed to putting out as many singles as we can and that content for people to have right now. Yeah,
awesome, man. That's cool. All right, well, look, Matt, thanks heaps for your time. And, fingers crossed, hopefully you make it to the stage really soon. Cheers.
Really good. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Cheers.